So good people, we are in fact celebrating these 30 years. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you about the journey we're about to take. This is the microphone. I'm going to be on it. Some of y'all are going to be on it. And then we're not going to be on it. And we're just going to chill and vibe. Okay? So while we're on it, let's be on it. Knowing that we're not always going to be on it. Okay, cool. Because some people are like, really? Is she going to talk for the next 2 hours? I am not. I am not. Part of celebrating, let me start off by saying, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. All right, New York is in the house. I don't have a trust fund, so I had to leave. So, you know how that goes. But I came to the Bay Area in 1995 to teach high school social studies. And one of my former students is one of our photographers tonight. So if you were on the red carpet, give it up for Chloe and the whole team. We were looking at each other, and you know when somebody hits you with the Miss Mosely, you're like, what now? So I also have to shout out Mark Salinas and Chris Chatmon, my brothers who were with me my first year teaching. Does anybody remember their first year teaching? You know, there's some folks, you don't necessarily want to see them 30 years later, but I'm grateful for those gentlemen and holding it down. So thank you to the band. Thank you again for the music, the vibe setting. It's just a beautiful thing. Live music, y'all. Can we teach the babies how to play instruments? Can we do that? So 30 years. I want to take us through a little journey of what I'll call the 4 phases of what we now have come to know as National Equity Project. It began a long, long, long time ago. I call it the before times. So what I'm going to ask is for folks to stand when your era, when we talk about your era, I'm going to give you a cue. Now listen. First of all, don't act like you didn't know this was going to happen. It's a National Equity Project event. I know you didn't think we were just going to eat and kiki. I already invited you. I told you we had offerings. Come on. All right? So, the before times. This is the mid-90s, y'all. You know what your hair was doing. I don't. We were one of the centers of essential schools. We were in the South Bay. A lot of people don't know this. We took it down south. If you are from this era, if this was your first touch point with this organization, in that mid-90s, South Bay, before times, can you please rise? Come on. These folks set it off. We're not here today without them. When it was just an idea. Thank you. Now, you can, because thank you, Mark, because there were some folks who were like, oh, just have everybody keep standing. Nah, not after 30 years. We're not going to do that to you. But you'll be standing up again, so get some protein. All right. Phase 2, bases of the 99s and early 2000s. Y'all remember when we got that good money? Millions. We had hot food, snacks. Bill and Melinda put it down. This is the time we were essential, and we had 9 principles. But in this era, we said, you know what? Let's bump it up a notch. And we went from essential to equitable and got that 10th common principle. We had offices on Telegraph, and then we moved to Broadway. Cue George Benson in your head. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. We were Basie's. We had the Basie's house. Anybody remember the Basie's house? It was our theory of action. We had coaching. We were rooted in Oakland, in Emeryville, in Berkeley. Our very own LaShawn Routé Chatmon became executive director during this time. It was a powerful time. And these first two eras were, I would be remiss, and I know we're going to talk a little bit later, but I want to just name that we're not here, and that era doesn't happen without the vision and the power and the strength of Steve Jobs. Now, for those of you who didn't know Steve, big, tall, white guy, right? Just a gentle heart. And in that era, what it meant to have the vision to say, I'm going to start this thing, but I need to pass the torch. I need to have the vision to know what the next few decades could look like. So during this era, we also, started a few schools. What? We were part of the small schools movement, transforming education locally. We worked with OCO. We worked with community organizers, families, to say, what do you want for your children? What's your vision? And how can we use our knowledge and skills to make it happen? We had coaching. We had institutes. We had all kinds of things. So if you were here, if your touch point was with this phase of our organization, from those 99s and early 2000s, this is my generation. I came in at 03, y'all. Please rise right now. If you came in during this era, you know Basie's, you know small schools, you know what we were doing to transform this community. Look around. This is the foundation, y'all. Thank you. Then there was phase 3. And in phase 3, we changed. We changed our name. Y'all know what it is. I know some of y'all had a little reaction. Not the chime. The chime like you knew it was time for a transition. How many of us, y'all don't know how many of us got stopped at the airport for chimes in our bags. Y'all don't know the struggle. Y'all don't know the struggle. But during this era, I like to call this NEP Part 1. This was our acronym era. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the LFE, the CEL, the BEL. We were in SoCal. We were in the Midwest because we were national. We took that good that we learned in Basie's, and we said, we learned so much, we got to spread the word. We can't keep it to ourselves. People stay wanting to learn from the Bay, right? I mean, it's the Bay, right? And so we said, let's spread that good news. And so we took the epistemological, the ontological, the etymological. Where's Victor? Where's Victor Carey? That's for you. We took all that knowledge and we shared it. We knew the importance of really taking our knowledge and taking our practices to the systems level. Everything that we were able to do with schools, we said we got to level up because these little schools, these small schools, this personalized learning needs to be protected systematically. And so we did that. And so if you were with us in that kind of 2010s, till about the pandemic. If you were in that era, that phase 3, please rise. All right, now I'm gonna ask this group to stand, because there aren't enough of some folks who may not realize they're part of this era. I would be remiss if I didn't name, so we were spreading the good news. I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't name. We also said, LaShawn begged me. She said, Micia, would you please, please, please start this thing called Black Teacher Project? And I said, Sean, okay, if you want me to. Nah. But anyone who's touched Black Teacher Project in any way, this is our era. And I just want to name, the power of passing the torch. Thank y'all. Y'all can have a seat. I want to name the power of passing the torch and what it means to lift as we climb. Because in 2007, I left the organization to go to New York to follow my dreams. And I said, I'll be back, y'all, don't worry. And then I came back and I was like, so yeah, I'm technically back, but I want to start this other thing. And LaShawn said yes. And through that vision, we have a whole other organization. Her vision also included the support of Kingmakers of Oakland. We know that in these first 3 eras, leaders were called up and were supported in taking some of these lessons, some of these ideas. And so many organizations have come, including SFS. I know Greg Peters is somewhere over here. I think he's over there, right? And so I want to name that because we're here to celebrate National Equity Project, but we're also here to celebrate so much that's come from it, right? Okay. So now I want to say this final chapter. No, this latest chapter. Phase 4. So y'all remember 2020? You remember what happened? Little tiny global pandemic. But what also happened in 2020 is that we learned how to take what we have and give it to people online. If anybody has ever been involved with any of our virtual learning, we threw it down. I'm not even gonna lie, we threw it down. We had people feeling, learning, sharing on their screens like they were in the office, like they were in a retreat site. We also understood the power of being intergenerational. Let me just say this. If you don't have friends of a different generation, fix it. I'm not talking about just your family. I'm not talking about people who you have positional power over, parents. I am squarely middle-aged, and happily so. I got my wisdom patch. I know enough, but not everything, right? And I feel blessed to have friends who are older than me and who are younger than me. And so I just ask that whatever age you are, really build relationships with someone who's from a different generation. It is how we will survive, y'all. It is how we will survive. This is also the era where we said, you know what? We got to influence the field. We got to let people know. Now, this is what I love about us. Now, this, some people might argue the dates. Maybe it was 2020. Maybe it was a little bit before. National Equity Project started working with philanthropy. Now, we some bad when we tell the people who are giving us money about themselves. But y'all, we had to do it because we see it now, right? Folks are getting funny with the money. But we said, hey, it doesn't have to be that way. You can have equity inside of your organization, inside of what you're doing. And so these last 5 years, we learned to be nimble. Y'all know about, where are my knee queens in the back? My sisters who just had some knee surgery, right? We were talking about it. Some of y'all, last time you saw me, I had a little scooter, right? You gotta heal to be nimble. You think I'm playing? I'm not. right? We learned to be nimble. We got big, we got small. We tried to figure out, how do we hold on to the love? And so if you were part of this era, 2020 to the present, please rise. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Taking us into this next chapter. Thank you. So here it comes. First, anyone who's been a part of these 4 eras, I'm going to ask y'all to rise, please. Mark, I told you I was going to ask you that one more time. This is the last time. From the beginning to the present, please rise if you've been a part of this thing that we call National Equity Project. Give it up for yourselves. Now, all of you who are sitting, you are sitting because someone invited you here. And so I need y'all to rise as well. Someone invited you here because this is our moment. This is our moment to come together. So if you haven't formally been part of this movement, consider this your invitation to the next chapter, your invitation to change this country, to change. I know we're the National Equity Project, but I want, International now wouldn't be too bad. But right here, right now, if you're in this room, know that you have the opportunity to join, to be a part of something fantastic, something great, something greater than ourselves. And so when I asked you earlier to meet people you didn't know, we're gonna, like I said, the mics are gonna go down in a minute. But I'm gonna ask you to truly make a connection. Because in this moment, when folks are getting snatched off the street, when we are fighting wars, we're funding wars that we don't believe in. When our babies are not learning how to read and are being punished for the miseducation, we need to be the people that come together. And so you may be like, that +1 is like, I'm not even in education. You are now. So please get to know someone, connect with someone, and let me say thank you to everyone for being here. Can I have a seat? All right. So as I mentioned, I remember I said I had the mic and some of y'all are gonna have the mic. So I think there's a second mic floating around. Now here's the deal, y'all, because I could see who's in the crowd. We got a lot of facilitators. And you know when those instructions are 20 minutes long and you done forgot the whole thing? I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna ask you to share a word or a phrase. There's a word or a phrase about what this experience has been like for you. So when you think about NEP, what comes to mind?
Family.
Joy.
Foundational.
Juntos sí se puede.
Communal and invigorating.
Transformational.
Student voice.
Unapologetic.
Rejuvenation.
Liberatory design.
Transformation in the hot tub at Westerbeck?
Okay, girl.
That was a story.
Courageous.
Fellowship.
Transformational training experiences.
Thanks to you.
Love.
Meaningful connection.
Empowering at NYU.
Black Teacher Project.
I know that's right.
We'll take two more.
Motivation to work.
Guidance I didn't know I needed.
All right. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Give it up. Oh, no. All right. So we know that we've supported the transformation of leaders in and out of hot tubs. And so what we'd love, we have time for two, because I did promise y'all that we have time to dance and chill. Two stories. When you think of NEP, you think of leadership, does anybody have a story that's on their heart that can help our family who may not know about us know a little more? We're all educators. You know that wait time is real. So hopefully we can get folks from a couple of different eras. And when you get on for this story, tell us who you are. And these stories now, you might be between people in the next little thing, so you got to be.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Coleman. I was at the Coalition of Essential Schools National Office from 2000 to 2004. Yay! And my memories in that organization are pretty powerful, but one of the most significant is NEP, or BASES at the time, was located in the same area as the national office, and we were on Franklin and 19th. Steve Jubb and Tony Smith, they would walk through these double doors in my office, and we'd have these meetings planned, talk about the future. One of the things we talked about was equity and democracy, which was a conversation that I pushed with Ted Sizer for years. But Tony and Steve would walk through those double doors, frankly, looking like two linebackers. They were huge, and I'm still the same height. And we would have the most powerful conversations that frankly led to what is so powerful, that still guides my thinking, my work, the humility that I have that sits in it, right? I just want to say thank you to everyone. This grew out of something, a place and a time and people with so much heart and passion. So I'm here and happy to celebrate 30.
Who's got it? One more. Is there a mic over there? Great. No? Okay. Hold on. So we'll go David, and then we'll take David.
Yeah,
David?
I got you. Yeah. So what I wanted to just say is anybody here from the small schools movement? Can I hear it? What National Equity Project to me represents is, one, a city where education was a certain way, and a movement where education could be different. And I think about my own child, and I think about, do I want to send my kid to Oakland schools? And I think about what the answer was before National Equity Project and BASES and the small schools movement, and what it is after. The second thing I just wanted to say is that on a personal level, so many organizations talk about equity, and they don't necessarily always bring people together. And what National Equity Project and BASES does is they're real, and they do it in a way that invites you in. And the last thing I'll just say is, as Micia said, it's not just about the people who are in National Equity Project, but think about all the organizations. Think about all the people across cities, states, and countries that have been touched by National Equity Project and how our world is different. Thanks.
There was one last one over here.
First of all, thank you all for this event celebrating National Equity Project. I love that the theme is about transforming leadership, because my story is about how in every interaction I've had, they have transformed me as the leader I hope to continue to become. My first work with them, I was in that first group that stood up. I was a teacher leader at a small school in Pacifica, and I had people like Lisa and Tony and Kristen supporting me in my work both as a math teacher and as an attendance supervisor. And this was a school that was very progressive for the time, but also struggled with looking honestly in the mirror around equity. And what transformed for me was this notion of being unapologetic, of keeping on the table who we're not serving, even when you're working against the stream. And the results of that was, as an attendance supervisor, I remember part of my work was to get out of the building, get in my car, and drive to the houses of the students that weren't showing up. And as a teacher, I created what was called the Essential Class, where students were given voice to help create the curriculum that they thought the school was missing. And all of this was because I was a newbie and I had amazing coaches. But perhaps the greatest gift of my leadership was that when I became a principal at a school where the year before I had joined the school, it had removed every single African-American male student except one because they were, quote unquote, bringing the scores down. I didn't know that was the school I was going to. I had the unbelievable blessing that I get to brag about of having LaShawn be my coach. And in that work, she just wasn't helping me to become a leader. She was a partner across difference. And our work was very explicitly what it meant for a brilliant Black educator and transformer to be in partnership and be a coach of a white man who had the audacity of leading for equity. And at the end of our 7 years, we were one of only 2 schools in the district to be closing the racial achievement gap, preparing every single student for UCCSU.
Thank you.
And the stories underneath that are daily, but my love and my appreciation is constant, so thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Another transition. I want to bring someone up who, we just have a couple of remarks, who many of you may not know. You know how there's this power and this force and you can't always see it. Sometimes folks aren't the people out front. Dr. Naila Nasir she is the 9th president of the Spencer Foundation. No, do not come up to her afterwards trying to shake her down for nothing. Just let her be tonight. I know some of y'all are like, ooh, calm down. She's a former president of AERA, a professor and vice chancellor at UC Berkeley, go Bears. And all that's great. It's important to have a job. It's cool. But her work is as the president of the Board of Trustees for the National Equity Project. Put your hands together right now as we welcome her.
All right. Good evening. It is so wonderful to be here among friends and family And I got a lot to say, so settle in. I have the distinct honor of sharing some additional things about the organization, the history of the organization, and then I get to talk about LaShawn. So, I can't see near and far at the same time anymore, so we're going to do this. Chairing the NEP board is the honor of a lifetime, truly. And let me just say, 30 years for an organization, for a nonprofit organization, is a long time. It is long enough for children to grow up and have children of their own. It is long enough for a tech revolution and a whole pandemic to come and go, for a climate crisis to fully take hold, and for newspapers to no longer be paper at all. Long enough for the whole world to turn on its axis and back again, leaning into the power and promise of equity, then leaning out into brutal dehumanization enshrined in policy. Over those 30 years, those 3 decades, NEP remains a constant. I have known about NEP for at least the last 20 of those years. I have been on the board for almost 15. I came onto the board soon after the name change from the Bay Area Coalition of Essential Schools to the National Equity Project, and at that time, the name represented a bigger vision, going from the local to the national, moving from schools to being concerned with the broader ecology surrounding education and young people. And when I joined the board, I was brought into the circle. If you've never been to an NEP board meeting, it will surprise no one to know that it was unlike any other boardroom I had ever been in, and I had been in a lot of boardrooms by that time. Because the organization, like the organization itself, the board was about the people in the room and the people not in the room. There were icebreakers and pair shares. It was about connecting, recognizing the beauty of our own and others' humanity, holding that sacred, and moving the work from there. You may have heard that this year marks a new era in the organization. We did a lot of collective soul searching, and this new era will be marked by 3 things. 1, a clear focus on shifting education systems, supporting leadership. It's going to be about distinguishing the work we could do from the work that is ours to do. 2, convening and leading powerful collectives to inspire and support transformation at scale, moving from serving and facilitating the work of our partners to movement building. And 3, asserting our role as a field leader and catalyzer around equity work, telling our story. We've been talking about that for years, telling the collective stories of change towards something better, and influencing policy and mindsets at a national level, going from moving quietly to taking our rightful place. And all of this, the past era and the era that is dawning, is because of the woman we will invite to the stage in a moment. She would hate for that to be said in that way because she believes in the collective work, but we know that her leadership has been essential. And I'm going to do a version of what I know of her and how I know her that's different than what you might read in her bio. To be clear, I knew LaShawn before I knew NEP. In fact, it was before NEP even existed. The year was 1992. The first time I ever saw her was walking across the Berkeley campus rocking a platinum blonde buzz cut. Fierce. Kind of untouchable. Clearly in a league of her own. We had some mutual friends, but we didn't really know each other well. And years passed, and I came to know her better on the steps of Yai's home and daycare in West Oakland. Shout out to Yai, who's in the room today. Where all of our many children, my 4 and her 3, learn to read. They learn to work out conflicts, sometimes with each other. They learn to be in community. And it was on Yai's steps that I learned of her promotion to executive director. What year would that have been? 2000? 2008. I thought 2007, 2008. I was teaching at Stanford at the time. I had no leadership aspirations whatsoever, and I was impressed. She looked excited and more than a little terrified. Those were years of sleepovers and kid birthday parties and a few grown-up parties too. LaShawn, AKA Mama LaShawn, had this wonderful way of being both incredibly warm and also surely no nonsense. A masterful quality I've seen her also bring to her leadership work. By the time I joined the board many years later, her leadership self was fully developed, and I had begun my own leadership journey. From her, I learned to remember to center the people, even when, and especially when, there was a lot of work to do. I learned to pivot when necessary and to do so with a grace that makes it seem like that was your plan all along. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I learned that mastering the budget and the business model was not separate from the programmatic work. And in fact, taking care of operations and finances was its own form of love. This organization is what it is because of her leadership. Now, she doesn't like to be in the spotlight, and we've had to push on some things as a board. Like the year we suggested she hire an administrative assistant to support her calendaring and travel. But for 2 years after that suggestion, she told us again and again why she couldn't. The organization had more pressing needs. Others in the organization needed things. And then we got smart, because the third year we mandated it. Shout out to Sonia, who has changed all of our lives. But that speaks to her humility, her desire to never put herself above anyone, to always work laterally in and of community. She moves people, and in doing so moves systems, inspiring all of us to be better and to do better, to reach for more, to connect to the most sincere parts of ourselves, and to lead from there. So I want to invite the board to the stage to join me so we can make an offering. We have an amazing board. Come on, y'all, every last one of you. Don't make me call you out. Yes, yes. All right. It's a good-looking board, right? Yes. And what's special about it is I think we really do see our job as supporting what LaShawn needs to move the work forward. So the next era of NEP will be the greatest era yet. Sorry to the old-timers, Tony, I hate to say it. The board recently made the wise decision to change LaShawn's title from executive director to CEO. She has launched a new strategic plan that is bolder than ever, and that recognizes the importance of NEP in galvanizing the field to imagine and create a world where every child has the opportunity to thrive. And so, it is with gratitude for the past and hope and joy for the future that on behalf of the board, we have a gift to present to our CEO, LaShawn Routé Chatmon, and I invite you, LaShawn, to join us on the stage. Okay. Look at that. So that is from a sculptor that LaShawn really enjoys, and we wanted it to be something you could put in your home to remind you of how much we love you, how much we value you, how much your leadership has meant to everyone in this room and to each of us on this stage. Thank you.
Stage is yours.
Good evening, friends, families, and partners. So I want to say thank you. Mama Naila, I am Mama LaShawn, and she is also Mama Naila. To Naila and the Board of Trustees for your unwavering support and your brave stewardship. Thank you for seeing me and the possibility of my and our leadership in the field. Thank you to my NEP team for the way you show up in the world and for each other, for your leadership, for your modeling, for your preparation, commitment to our mission, and to making my job look really good. Leading a multiracial, intergenerational, values-driven organization committed to living its principles for equity has not been a straight line. I got a few bruises and some scars to show y'all what that is. But every step has been worth the fight. So I'm deeply proud of the fact that we are still here. We are still here, right? There is a proverb in the Latin community about you tried to bury us, but you didn't know we were seeds. Y'all know that, right? We're still here. And I feel enormous pride for that. And I know that I owe all of that to the people who are in this room and to my sister, Micia Mosely. Y'all, come on. So thank you for holding us in love, in light, in celebration, and in humor. I know this is a hard time to be a leader for equity. Amen? And justice. And so I'm glad that we understand that even when it's dark outside, the sun is always in the sky. And that our joy is an act of resistance and freedom, right? So some of y'all will know the hymn, right? That this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me, and the world can't take it away, right? So it is important for us to come together in community, to be in celebration, to have joy, right? Even in the midst of deeply, deeply troubling times. To my family, my sons, spelled S-U-N-S, Amari, Khalil, and Jordan, and my grandbaby Dominique Kai. You are the center of my universe. And my prayer is that my effort, my leadership, however wobbly and emergent, and my work, which has not been without sacrifice to you, makes you proud. And to my husband, Chris, Baba C. Chatmon, thank you for your partnership and for our enduring love. You are a mirror, helping me to see myself more clearly through your loving eyes and reminding me at every turn that I am a badass Black woman. Shut your mouth. And to all of you, please repeat after me. I am because we are. I am because we are. We are because I am. May this circle be unbroken. I greet you this evening in the spirit of Sankofa, right? In the not the seeing, not the ocular seeing, right? But the spiritual seeing. The seeing that says, we see the divine in you is the divine in me, right? I greet you in the spirit of In Lakesh, right? I am you and you are me. I greet you in the spirit of namaste, not the yoga namaste, right? But I greet you in the original meaning of namaste, which comes out of India, which says, the light in me honors the light in you, right? I greet you in that. I greet you in Ubuntu, right? That was the phrase that you were saying, right? I am because we are. I am because we are. I greet you in that spirit. And it is in that spirit. It is in these ancient greetings. It is in this ancient concept that is exactly what this moment is calling for. It's calling for us to remember, to move and act like we know that we belong to each other, right? And that this knowing counteracts the most insidious lie that is upheld by white supremacy ideology, right? And I'm not talking about culture because I don't necessarily believe that that's a culture, but I do believe that it is an ideology. And this idea that we have a shared fate, that what is happening to me is happening to you, is how we need to move right now. We need to know that we have a shared fate. So I thank all of you. After 25 years of contribution and leadership in BASIS and NEP, I know, this is my 25 years. I have been here 25 years this year. I know that if it were not for the unrelenting commitment, push, leadership, trust of the leaders in this room and others across the country, that BASIS would have never thrived and NEP would have never been born. I'm clear about that. It is our leaders across time and space, and the young people and communities you work in every day to be places that young people are deserve. You are our most enduring legacy. So, and I am also definitely aware that without the phenomenal talent, dedication, open-hearted leadership of my team, today's team, and every composition that has come before, my leadership would not be possible. So I want to ask us to give a rousing, loud, cheering response to the NEP team right now. Thank you. Yes, right? I'm emboldened and grateful to be on this journey with you. People have come up to me tonight and they were like, LaShawn, like, you trained us. We grew up with you. And I'm like, we grew up together. There's some pictures on this slideshow where we look like we were some counselors. I was like, who was hiring us? Who was listening to what we had to say? We literally looked like we were 16 years old in some of these photos. We were fully grown and we did know a few things, but my goodness. And so I'm grateful to be on this journey. I do not take it for granted at all. At all. We have watched sister organizations in this last 30 years close their doors, be run out, be pushed out, right? So I do not take it for granted. But I know that there's a reason why we're still here. And so I ask you tonight, our theme tonight was what is rooted in legacy and renewed in purpose. Rooted in legacy and renewed in purpose. What does it mean to be rooted in legacy and renewed in purpose right now? These are some hard times, y'all, right? And I know some of y'all are wondering, they're like, LaShawn, what magical words are you about to say to inspire some hope in the midst of this shit show and real fight to protect one another and the civil and human rights that we thought we had already run in this fragile democratic experiment? And I'm not making no promises because I don't know if I'm going to make you feel better. But if you're still with me, please shout out, solidarity. Solidarity will be our superpower. So I came to say to you, I'm not talking about like what we're doing. Naila beautifully. I'm like, oh, I hope we recorded that, because Naila beautifully talked about our strategy and like what we're up to next. But I did come to tell you today that being rooted in legacy and renewed in purpose calls for us to know that ours is not the work of a single hero leader. The Calvary, as my husband lovingly likes to say, is not coming for us, right? And as Audre Lorde reminds us that without community, there can be no liberation, right? And so we know that it has to be rooted in the people. I came to say that there are guides in our history, seeds of strategy and collective power that we must harvest now. We must harvest now to inform our actions. I came to locate us. I came to locate us. To put the pain of this moment in a historical context. To remind us that prior movements for justice and social and economic change didn't have hard start or end times. And so, as Coretta Scott King said to us, struggle is a never-ending process. Now, I had the occasion of saying this to some millennials in 2020. We were on Zoom, it was like the first time I was like with some young leaders, and they were all leaders of color, and they were like, well, I don't accept that. I was like, okay. I had to do them like my mama used to do me. She's like, just keep living, baby. Just keep living. Just keep living. Struggle is a never-ending process. And what I know now is like, whoo, Coretta Scott King was trying to tell us, y'all, stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready, right? She was telling us, listen, it's gonna come a time, we're gonna win this one, and then we're gonna have to win something else again. And for all of us who thought we was done, who thought that freedoms that we had already fought for had already been won, right? And who are now standing, defending those same freedoms. She goes on to say, freedom is never really won. That you earn it and you win it in every generation. Coretta Scott had an assignment for us. She was like, you will have an assignment. After these leaders in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, in the 2000s, you will still have an assignment. So right now, and I think there's power in that, quite frankly, right? I think there's power in that, in us knowing, in us anticipating. And the truth is, right, we might have to be like, ooh, we was a little bit asleep at the switch, right? We weren't anticipating that this was gonna come, but we should have known it was coming. We should have known that our freedom wasn't gonna be guaranteed, right? So there's some power in that. And right now, today, we are living through and are part of an ongoing freedom project. It's ongoing, y'all. And the future of educational equity is ours to imagine and to call boldly and lovingly into being. So today, equity remains unapologetically at the center of our work and our name. And we did have many people ask us in January and beyond, are you gonna change your name? Are you gonna change your name? No, we're not. And the truth is, it was the first time where I was like, ooh, are we gonna have to change our name? I had a moment, I did have a moment. And what I did was, I picked up the phone and started calling leaders. I was like, what do you need for us to not be in your way? For us to keep the work going? What do you need? And leaders laughed, leaders like Cheryl Cotton. She was like, girl, what you gonna change your name to? She's like, and then after you finish changing your name and they get on some other words that you ain't supposed to say, what you gonna do then, right? And I was like, bet. Thank you, right? Thank you. We're gonna keep going, right? We've been standing on business for equity. Oh, somebody said period. Come on now. We've been standing on business for equity for 30 years. We were standing on it before anybody had defined equity. We were standing on it before it was popular and in vogue. We were standing on it before it was weaponized. We were standing on it before it was banned. In our next chapter, we'll continue we'll continue scaling leadership for the kinds of communities and learning environments that we know our children deserve. And while I know it feels hard in this moment for us to think about what it's going to be to get over what's in front of us, I came to remind you that together we were built for this season. And that all that we need is in us right now. Being renewed in purpose is about drawing on the power, the fortitude, the genius, and the creativity, and the trickster energy. Y'all got to bring some Trisha Hurst. Y'all got to go reach. Trisha Hurst is talking about some trickster energy, right? That we know that we carry of our elders and our ancestors to lead unapologetically, knowing we ready. And it's time to squad up. So I want y'all to give me the organizers. Give me Oakland's Liz Sullivan. Give me Katie Nunez-Adler. Give me Kimmy Keene. Give me Lakeisha Young and her team of parent liberators, and Berkeley High's Irma Parker, leaders who know, in the words of Dolores Huerta, that every moment is an organizing opportunity, and every person is a potential activist, and every minute is a chance to change the world. Give me the educators. Give me Janae Marshall, Annie Johnston, Dana Moran. Give me Nancy Lai and Mama Titi Lau McKinney. I want BTP's Elena Injamanzi, Brother Khalifa. I want Karan Brinson. As a matter of fact, give me all of Black Teacher Project, because every child deserves to have a Black teacher. We want the principals, right? I want all the principals, working with love, skill, and urgency to transform conditions so that every child, every young person and family in their school community has what they need to belong and thrive. So give me Oakland Schools principals, Leo Fuchs, give me Larissa Adams, give me Hasten Kim, give me Mateen Abdul Kawi, give me Preston Thomas, give me David Silver, give me Yatende Reeves, who was here and actually last year became Principal of the Year for the state of Maryland. Give me Jefferson Union's Denny Marenko, right? Give me Nydia Baez and her whole crew from Fremont High School. Give me Greg Peters, give me Christian Bajour. Give me the OGs in the room. I want Warren Simmons, Susan Colby, Hugh Vasquez, Heidi Gill, Mutu Fagbayi, and Victor Carey. Those folks who've been there, done that, and still have a few things to say about how to create positive change. I want all the NEP team, the folks standing in the gap and supporting us to move from where we are to where we want to be internally and externally. Give me Roxanne Kimani on sounds and vibes. I want Mark Salinas on agenda design, Wu Williams on content development, Alex, Nichelle, and Linda on network development. Give me the expert coaching support of Colum Davis and Asali Waters. Give me the dream team. Give me the dream team. Give me the dream team. Give me Adrena, Connie, Sonia, Jasmine, making sure our logistics are straight and we are where we're supposed to be when we're supposed to be there. Give me Costa on data. Give me Sunny on production, Aaron on project planning. Give me Rosa on marketing. Give me Sarah Gray on communications and product development. You have a piece of art in front of you on your tables. Did y'all see it? Did you see it? What does it say? What does it say? So take those with you, frame them. They are beautiful. Aren't they beautiful? Aren't they beautiful? They are yours. They are yours to take. So y'all give me Sarah Gray on communications and product development. Give me Emil, Brett, Juanita, Kathleen on stewardship and direction. Give me our network CEOs and superintendents. I want Chris Chatmon and Javier Cabras on vision. I want Tony Smith and Giselle Shorter on strategery. I want Kyla Johnson-Trammell. I want her steadfast, right? I want Kyla's steadfast, gracious leadership, and Tony Presta's clarity and energy. Jefferson Union, is Tony in the room? Come on, Tony. I want Tony Presta's clarity and energy, and I want Battle Creek, Michigan's Kim Carter's endurance and impact. I want the young. Give me the young. Give me E. Kira Davis. Give me Jordan Chatmon. Give me Caden Cotton. Give me Liam. Where's Liam? Give me Khalil Chapman. I want the next generation because I know they can already speak for themselves. We need to give them voice. They already have voice. We just need to get out of their way, right? And make sure that they have the tools that they need to lead. I want the scholars who know better than to pathologize our pain, who know that we are the light and conducts research that cultivates learning and transforms lives. Give me doctors Naila Nasir, Chineri Opara, Nicole Richardson, and Camille Farrington. And to the funders, we want y'all to come too. So the ones who know a good bet is always on the people closest to the pain, right? So I'm calling in the culture keepers, the truth tellers, the sacred activists, the artists. I want Baba Hadari Davis. I want Jeff Duncan Andrade, right? Who teach us to know and love ourselves, our people, and our culture. I want the pastors. I want the sacred activists. You go ahead and give me Michael McBride. Is Mike McBride in the room? I want Michael McBride and Derica Blackman and Rev Andriette, who push us to answer the existential question of our time. What would we do? What would we create? Who would we be if we truly believe that there is no other? That's a hard, we in a time of hard lessons and hard truths. This is a hard lesson. So when we talk about belonging, what do we mean? What does it mean to actually create spaces of belonging for all of us, for our babies, for the adults? What would it mean if there actually was no other? What? Right? But that's our charge. What if there was actually only us and our work was to create greater and greater, bigger and bigger we? What if that was our work? What could we create if that was our work? And finally, let in the artists, let in the poets, let in the creatives. Give me Candace Wicks Davis, Takia Franklin, Solas Laji on the vocals. Give me Jordan and Faya on Reach Back Retain. Give me the Kingmakers music crew who, in the spirit of Toni Morrison, knows that this is the exact time that artists go to work. It is their job to write the soundtrack, create beauty, and poems that cry out, demand justice. Do you feel that power? Do you feel that power, that wisdom, that brilliance, scholarship? Who gonna stop us? Who gonna stop us, right? So today, we are rooted in legacy and renewed in purpose, and we gonna be all right. DJ, can you get it? Can you get it? Thank you.
CEO LaShawn Routé Chapman. All right, y'all. Y'all know what it is. So one, I want to thank our sponsors. They're over here. No. Thank you to Robert Spencer, to Teacher Truth, Black Female Project, Policy Link, Kingmakers of Oakland, Backfulness, Chamberlain Foundation, Rakes Foundation, William and Flora Hewlett Foundation. Thank you to our sponsors, because this was nice, right? It is. It's not over. Don't worry. The speeches are over, but, we're going to kiki. So look, y'all. This doesn't happen just because we want it to happen. This happens because people put time, energy, and thoughtfulness into this. So if you have been involved at all in the planning and or execution of this evening's events, please rise. Can we give it up for all these folks? Can we give it up? Adrena, okay. I'm just gonna say your name since you didn't stand up. No, you weren't, I know. Adrena's like, I'm not on the committee. But here's what I'm gonna tell you. When you're part of an organization where our office looks fly, if you haven't been there, Our energy is fly. It takes everyone. So thank you to the people who helped create tonight specifically. It's not over. Thank you to everyone who's helped create the National Equity Project. It's not over. You understand the assignment. If you haven't met someone you don't know, please do. Now, we are concluding the formal part of our program where there's this microphone and I'm up here and all that kind of stuff. But we're not done because we believe in excellence, okay? So, we could have just had some DJ, some music, whatever. But no, that's not how we roll. We roll with excellence. This is my sister. Now, we've been rocking. She had me, even when my foot was broke, I was dancing, right? But you might know her from the Warriors, the Valkyries, So Lovely. What's the name, what y'all just opened? Golden Ratio, the new spot. They got property, y'all. Golden Ratio here in Oakland. Check it out. Y'all, we're going to continue to get to know each other, to build in this transition. And I want to say thank y'all for being here. Give it up for DJ Lady Ryan. Have a great night, y'all. Enjoy.